Welcome back to the Grand Palm Hotel, Casino and Convention Centre here in Gaborone in Botswana for the big fight of the night. It's champion versus champion. Yes, the WBA Pan-African Featherweight title fight over 12 rounds. And we got Fadhili Majiha, who in fact is from Tanzania. And he is the challenger, although he is also a WBA Pan-African champion. He's the super bantamweight champion. I was telling you about how he had beaten Gabriel Ochieng early on in this year, and he fought that fight at the Crown Plaza in Nairobi. Was on the very first of the African boxing shows on Fox Sports Africa. That was a big fight for him. He did well to win that. And of course, the man now that we're looking, who's put his title up for grabs, is Rofhiwa Maemu. Maemu is known as the War Child, and he's based in Soweto in South Africa, and he's got a wonderful following, an incredible following in that part of the world. And of course, Majiha comes from Dar es Salaam, and you can see the title. Look at the difference. Look what they got. Both lost 7, and they have won 20. Did Majiha fights in that little bit lower? He's gained a little bit of weight, as you can see. He's gone back to 56 on this. Remember, this fight is actually over a 57.15, so both boxers in it, and Majiha just slightly under, with the War Child with a difference in height and certainly a lot more difference in reach as well. So everything here to go for, the one we've all been looking for, a champion versus a champion, and at the end of it, we'll have a champion. So,
right, this is the WBA Pan-African Featherweight title fight scheduled for 12 rounds. Let's bring in the challenger right now, Tanzania's Fadhili Majiha. Opponent all the way from South Africa, Rofhiwa Maemu. Before we do the introductions and the formalities for this fight, please can you be upstanding for the national anthems. Firstly, the national anthem of Tanzania. And now the national anthem of South Africa. Right, now your judges for this particular fight will be Wally Snowball, Simon Klamlashe, and Patrick Esthuizen. So let me introduce the principals to you right now. He is the challenger in this particular fight. He's had 31 fights, 20 wins, 7 losses, 4 draws. He hails all the way from Tanzania. He weighed in at 56.05 kilograms. He's wearing the black trunks with a little white trill. He's all the way from Dar es Salaam. Let's welcome Fadhili Majiha. His opponent, he weighed in at 57.05 kilograms. He's wearing the black, red, and gold trunks. He's had 22 contested fights, 14 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw. He won this particular title right here in this ring on the 11th of October, making his first title defense. Let's make him feel warm, wild, and welcome the war child, Rofhiwa Maemu. Now your referee. When the bell sounds in this 4-cornered ring, the referee will be none other than Tony Ngangiwi.
Boxers. Boxers, I spoke to you in the dressing room. Obey my commands all the time. Shake hands. Good luck.
So Tony Ngangiwi, he's the man in charge of this Pan-African title fight, the featherweight version thereof, and the WBA sanctioned event it is. So it's Tanzania versus South Africa. Wonder where the support will lie. This young lad, war child, won the, as you heard Brian Mulder tell us, he won the title right here in this ring. And a good fighter he is, and of course, Fadhili Majiha, he won the title, his bantamweight title, that is, beg your pardon, and he won that title in Kenya, in the Crown Plaza Hotel, on the first of the Africa boxing shows right here on Fox Sports. This could be interesting. A lot of aggression from this young man, Warchild. A bit raggish, but he's got a lot of aggression. He drives forward, both hands. He's not scared to go, as you can see already. And Fadhili, he certainly can defend. Let's see what happens. Two boy, they see they call him now as well. Two boy Warchild. Two body, is it? Maybe, I'm not sure what it says on the back. I'm trying to look at the back of his shorts. It's two boy. Two boy. There you go. Just knew him as Warchild. I know he's got tremendous support in Soweto, in South Africa. Both move well, don't they? Good right, but he took it well, the Tanzanian. Both hold their gloves up high. They're from Tanzania, comes from Dar es Salaam. Lovely part of the world, Dar es Salaam. Nice and hot and humid this time of year. A little off balance there, the Tanzanian. Oh. On the counter, you can't throw punches like that. A big, wild, ranging right from the Tanzanian. The boy from Soweto just slimes all over him quickly. Interesting, very much an exploratory first round.
I would say so myself, maybe. You know, both boxers sizing themselves up, finding out what the other has got in store. But you can see that Rofhiwa has really improved on his technique. And, you know, Alan Tawil said that he asked him to stop the wild throws of punches. And you can see that's cut out from the last time when he won the title. So he's done pretty well in getting into this fight with Fadhili Majiha from Tanzania.
A bit of Vaseline there, Alan Tawil administering to his boxer.
Seconds out, round number 2.
So in the second round we go. This WBA Pan-African Featherweight title. Both champions in their own rights from their own weight divisions. The heavier one is Maemu. Is the title that's up for grab tonight. A little bit harder puncher too, Maria. He's a useful fighter. Majiha is a more compact, jab and run, jab and move type fighter. Maemu comes through like that, picks up on the opposite. When you make a mistake, he's very quick to pounce. Majiha has to know that if he lets that right go, he has to make sure it lands, because that's what Warchild does. He comes forward very quickly the moment you throw a punch. He looks for that gap, looks for the opening to throw his own. See the difference. He hit him, which meant that the Warchild couldn't continue coming forward. So he has to land that right. If he doesn't, he opens himself up to punches. It's a tactical fight, isn't it? Both boxers know and respect each other. That's what this is. This is a boxing match of respect. There's the counter punching once again of Maemu. Bit of Swahili being spoken to my right here. I can hear it. Instructions going to the man from Tanzania. A bit of Zulu behind me, Shire. So much respect here. Both boxers know they can fight. Both boxers know they probably can win this. But both boxers also know they have to dominate. Fascinating, fascinating second round here. Interesting. I'm enjoying this. This is pure tactics. You can see what's happened. Maemu is making the counter attack. As you see, that Majiha makes a mistake and he pounces all over him. That's exactly the way he's doing it. Interesting fight. Misses, now we go. Look, he wants to get involved. That's exactly what this is all about. You've got a situation where he's actually jabbing, punching, and now retaliating almost his Warchild.
Yes, I think that both these fighters, they know there's so much at stake here. Respect is uppermost in both of these boxers' minds. Hence, you can see that even though we're into the second round, they're still sizing themselves up. but they haven't let go the big ones yet, and that's the one that we're waiting for to see who
Seconds
gets
out,
the upper hand.
round number 3.
Yeah, the big one in first. You're absolutely right on that, because Majiha, when he throws that right, it is a good right, but he has to land it, because if he doesn't, he opens himself up for Warchild to come forward. Now, this is a bit more aggression in the third round. Maybe he's got the instructions. Come on, just up the pace a bit. Come on, you need to up the pace, and he's doing just that. Alan Tewell must have given him that instruction. I say, you can do this. This fella hasn't got the firepower you've got. You've given him respect. Now let's have a look what the firepower is now. You've got it, he hasn't got it. That's what Payson is probably saying. He's a lighter man. Remember, he's gained weight to come up to your division, so he might have just carried a little bit extra than he would normally be doing, fighting as he was, of course, as the Super Bantam. Yeah, he does more jabbings on the corner of the Tanzanian, just shouting at him. Jab more. Doesn't throw that right. That's the one which creates, it's almost like lighting the fuse, isn't it? The moment he throws the right, the fireworks begin coming in from Warchild.
Pick up your punches.
So much respect for each other. A lot at stake here. Chance to move up the ladder, get a Pan-African title under your belt, defend it in Warchild's case, and get a second title in the case of Majiha from Dar es Salaam. Both ducked very, very quickly there, didn't they? In a situation, if you're not careful, a clash of heads when you do that. Luckily, both boxers missed. So the referee's not happy about something there, Warchild. I wasn't quite sure what it was he wasn't happy with. Unless he poked him in the eye with his thumb. I can't quite work that out.
I think both boxers didn't hear where the bell had gone. There was a 10-second sounding, but Rofhiwa thought that the bell had gone and the referee hadn't heard it, and he was pounded by the Tanzanian. So, still an interesting fight, Barry.
It is.
You know, the respect is there for each other, but I don't know for how long this respect is going to last, because they need to get on and size each other up and start getting going, because throwing punches is the important thing in this fight.
Seconds out, round number 4.
So round number 4 we go into with Warchild. Rofhiwa Maemu. It's a watch your heads, I think is what it was. Maybe it was a clash of heads. I didn't quite see it, I'll be honest with you. But maybe that's what it was. And the referee just warns both of them, watch your heads. And I think that's when they both duck. It happened just nearly before the last clash there, just before the bell in the third round. Warchild trying to just up the pace a bit as we start again in the fourth round. He did that in the third round as well, but didn't conclude it. Maybe he's pacing himself. 12 rounds, long way to go yet. Just a quarter of the way through. Yes, got the right. Oh, that was close. Television screen runs all over the floor here, but well held Iqbal. It was close. As his foot came out the ring, kicked our monitor over. Majiha just putting a little extra work in here in the fourth round. Interesting, he's throwing the punch and just ducking or trying to go low, which he's hoping then that the War Child's punches go over the top of him. Because he knows that when he throws that right, it opens himself up and War Child just explodes into him. That's the one. That's what happens. Didn't land fully. That was a bit low. The referee says nothing. No accidental, but we carry on. Interesting round. I must admit, I put that maybe to the Tanzanian. He might have just got him a shade ahead there.
You can see the tactics very clear, Barry. Both are looking for that opening. Majiha, throwing the right hand, exposes himself, but Rofhiwa is at a disadvantage because he hasn't got that reach to get to him. And both are so very cagey about things. I don't see any wild punches from Rofhiwa at the moment. Maemu's done pretty well, and I think the training that he's done with Tawil has proved that, you know, he's got to maintain his stamina going into this 12-rounder.
Well, 4 rounds gone. That's a third of the way through of this championship fight here in Gaborone. Both boxers just being separated by the referee to make sure they both come together. A little bit of a welt there. I think that was the clash of heads on Maemu's forehead. It's over his left eye. Look out for that. If we get a close-up of him, I'm sure we will eventually. We'll see that. Just keep an eye on it. Obviously, Majiha's got to get that left going and maybe can penetrate through the punches, through the guard of the South African. War Child with a little of a small Mohican type style of haircut, and the balding head of Majiha from Tanzania. Oh, that's better. A little bit of explosive, but a lot of them on the arms, not too much point scoring there, most of them on the arms. That's the one. Over the top. Once again, gone into that respect mode again. Both of them a little cagey, knowing full well they've both got reasonably good punches. Majiha, yes, missed him with that one, the big overhand. Just pulls away quickly once he sees that Maemu's right is about to explode. Not an easy fight to judge this. The punches are a little wild, not really landing too well. It's going to be an interesting one. That's probably maybe Maemu just shading that one on that round, but it's so even running through his fight.
One thing you must give credit to both these camps, Barry. Both boxers are in excellent condition. You can see they've trained hard for this. They know what's at stake. And, you know, you can see them moving around in the ring, trying to get out of the way of punches. And like we said earlier, the respect for each other is still there. Nobody's really broken through to take the fight away from each other.
No, and all the punches being thrown there, Ick, as you can see, but not many of them actually landing and scoring punches at all. So very difficult indeed, as you said earlier. We were talking about it. The respect for each other is tremendous. The fitness of both camps, you're absolutely right.
Round
Both
number 6.
very, very fit young men. So going to the 6th round, we're nearly halfway through this 12-round scheduled fight. Warchild has put his Pan-African, WBA Pan-African Featherweight title on the line for tonight's fight. And he's taken on the man from Tanzania, who's a little bit lighter, He's the super bantamweight champion from the WBA Pan-African. He's more aggressive completely. We're really getting quite hammered here, aren't we? Once again, it goes crazy. That's the second time we've had a foot through the ring, through the ropes rather, and knocked our monitor over. But Iqbal's as sharp as ever, fielding in the slips, he caught it. So, what's that all about? Did he clash of heads, rubbed his head? Yep. Warchild doesn't like it, whatever it is. It's on that lump of his too. He's got a little lump on the top of his left eye. I think he's now fed up. He's going to say, well, I better clean this up, otherwise there's going to be another rubbing against that lump I've got over my left eye. And I don't want that to split, because that can be not very easy to see through if it starts bleeding. A lot of movement from the Tanzania boxer, isn't it? He really is moving well. He's stopping being hit by his defensive bobbing and weaving. But Warchild now does look as though he's putting a little bit more effort in. When I say effort, not that these two haven't put effort in, maybe I think with more pace and more aggression, maybe. We go into the final minute of the 6th round. Maemu may be just shading on this round, but it is tight. Very difficult to judge. There's some good punches. One or two of those will sway the judge's opinion, but otherwise it's not an easy one. Karibu. Hey, well done. Nice ending to a fight. A nice ending halfway through now, and very little in it. Maemu might just be leading, just be in front, but it's very tight. Very tight.
Just a little bit more aggression in this last round, Barry.
Yeah.
Both fighters trying to throw the punches, land the punches, but I think Maemu has got the better of Fadhili at the moment. He's quicker on his feet, but he's started to throw those wild punches, which Tawil didn't want him to throw, and you know that'll sap his energy if he continues doing the very same thing. Tawil wants him to throw the punches, land the punches. That will be effective.
Yeah, he's a little bit aggressive, but he's not been landing those and scoring the punches, scoring the points, has he? That's been the point. Right. Round 7 it is. As referee Giwi starts proceedings. Majiha from Tanzania and Maemu from Soweto in South Africa. And he's putting on the pressure now, is Maemu. Maemu is come out with a little bit more aggression. But still the defense of Majiha is good. Moves away, doesn't allow the punch to land properly, or should I fully. Ooh. Two big swinging lefts and rights from both boxers, neither of which landed. There goes another and another. Just getting each other out the way of the punches without them landing. As we move towards the final minute of round number 7. A lot more punches missing at the moment than actually landing and scoring punches. That's what he does again. He missed with the right, and then he gets attacked completely by Rofhiwa. Majiha, I think, was a little bit on the receiving end of that one.
I think he was a bit lucky when he got onto the ropes there. Maemu failed to land those effective punches, and he got away. And then the bell rang, and I think that was a relief for him.
Tried to do a couple of punches there on the break, but got away quickly, did Maemu.
I see that
thing. Yeah, that's that clash of heads earlier. Alan Tawil was doing a lot of work with the iron, trying to push that bump down. And that's hard work, believe me, and it can be.
Seconds out,
Jolly
round
painful.
number 8.
Let's see a little egg coming up there over the top of his eye. What he doesn't want, of course, is another clash of heads and open it up. And if you open things up like that, it stays with you for the rest of your career. It's the last thing you want to happen, and it becomes very difficult to see through the blood when it starts to run down your forehead and across your eye. But good work being done by Alan Tawil on that eye. And now he's saying, I think you better get out there and probably throw a few punches of your own, because we might be a little tight on the scoring here. So let's get some points in the bag. A little ragged, a little wild.
Pick up your punches.
Whoa. Referee very nimble. Mr. Nangiwi had to get out the way there.
Don't hit behind the head.
Good little combination from War Child. Land a few more punches, some of which are definitely scoring. Interesting round. That one, it went in, I suppose, different directions, really. It started off with Majiha doing a lot of work and probably going ahead, and then Maemu coming back near the end and probably shading the round.
I think Maemu realizes going toe-to-toe with Majiha could be a bit dangerous because the lump is getting bigger and bigger on that head of his. I just wish, for his sake, if he's going to be more aggressive as the rounds go, that Alan Tawil has a very good cut man in his corner if that has to bleed.
Yeah. If it does, but I hope that doesn't get there. I don't like seeing fights being judged or being in any way fighters being advantaged or disadvantaged by cuts. I don't
Seconds
like to see
out,
that.
round number
So
9.
2/3 of the way through this championship fight we are as we move into round number 9 of this WBA Pan-African Featherweight title. The current champion is Rofhiwa Maemu, War Child from Soweto in South Africa. And the challenger is Fadhili Majiha, the man in all black shorts with that little white writing down the sides. And of course he's also a champion, but he's the champion in the super bantamweight division of the Pan-African WBA title. You said it earlier, Ick, these boys are really fit. There's no doubt about that. These camps have trained these young lads absolutely to the maximum. 25-year-old Maemu and 24-year-old Majiha. These are very fit young men. There seems to be no wastage in energy when they fight, when they throw punches. They try and make sure they land, although that they will get a few wild throws, but up on their toes, both boxers. So here we are, into the 9th round. 9 out of 12 gone, 3/4 of the way through the fight. And I think Maemu might just be shading this now, starting to move ahead slowly with the scoring.
I think he's still going pretty well, Barry, considering that slight injury on the clash of heads. But credit to the both boxers, they're moving so well. You know, 9 rounds, it saps your energy. It's a title fight. There's so much at stake. Maemu's title's on the line. Fadhili is desperate to win a second WBA Pan-African title fight. And though they're throwing punches, they're not really landing them at the moment.
No, you've got that summed up well. Not many landing, 10. Not many scoring punches being thrown at all in this particular fight. Very, very wary, very, very respectful of each other. But however, they are both energetic, and they're both giving it their all at the moment. I think they both know as well that one good punch could land if it does, and there's a possibility that both boxers could get really hurt. Remember, Majiha's had 5 KOs in his 20-fight career, and War Child, Rofhiwa Maemu, the man in the, as you can see on the back, there, 2 boy, it says on the back of his shorts. He's had 9 knockouts out of his 14, so he's got a bigger percentage of knockouts, and you can see why, because he has got a good punch. So indeed has Majiha. And it looks to me as if all they want to do, they probably don't want to take a punch, they probably want to just get out the way of each other, just pull away from each other, get out of range, like that. Lots of jabbing coming forward by Maemu, but Maemu not landing, because Majiha is actually moving backwards and getting out of range very quickly. Good left and a good right from the Tanzanian. Oh, just slid off the face there, didn't land flush. But it was a good return right there from Maemu, the boy from Soweto.
That's the game.
Pushing his head against his head. The Tanzanian pushing a little bit on that a little egg on the head of Maemu right at the end of that round.
I think Maemu has just shaded that one, Barry.
Yeah.
He's done well in this. You know, notwithstanding that Fadhili is also coming into it and both chasing each other to try and land that puncher that they require to win this title. They want a knockout, but, you know, like Tawil said, if the knockout comes, it's going to be a bonus, but he's prepared his man for the full 12 rounds.
He certainly has. He's done well. Both camps have, as you said earlier, Rick. Both camps have done very well. They've got young men here, 24 and 25 respectively, and they are nice and fit. You can see that. Still on their toes,
Seconds
not
out,
laboured at all.
round
We're
number
nearing the
11.
end of the fight with just 6 minutes left in this WBA Pan-African Featherweight title. So the penultimate round we go into, just 6 minutes to go of boxing here at Gaborone in Botswana. And you're watching this live on Fox Sports Africa. And there's a big left at that moment on the war child. He looks very tucked up and very aggressive all of a sudden. He's come out with more venom maybe. Needs to land a few rather than just bobbing and weaving. He needs to get himself into position to throw good punches. He's now standing a little bit more upright. He was bobbing and weaving early, put his head down. Nice little left there. Little jab went through, 2 jabs went through. This is a better start to the round by Maemu. I think he's realized that you can't just wait for that right to come all the time from Majiha before you can throw a punch. That's better. Both boxers now landed good punches there, and both took them well. Yeah, I think you've got Maemu, as you said earlier, just shading these rounds as they're going along. And I think he's in the lead right this moment. So the last round's going to be an interesting one.
I think it's going to be interesting because, you know, it depends on who's the hungry of the two, because they've been very cagey through the 11 rounds that we have seen. Not many big punches have been landed, but it's the final round. There's the big title belt at stake. And if Maemu wants to retain his title, he's got to throw a big one and get Fadhili out of the way. And if Fadhili wants to get that second belt, he's got to go all out against the South African. Still sizing up each other.
Seconds out. This is the 12th and final round.
Indeed.
Boxers shake hands.
Interesting. It's been an interesting contest, but it's not been a blockbuster. It's been what I would call a cagey event with both boxers respecting each other and both boxers understanding that each one is a champion in his own right. So the last 3 minutes of this Pan-African title fight here, WBA, featherweight, everything to go for. Maemu, I think, just leading the game at the moment. Probably might be by a couple of points. So Fadhili has got a bit of work to do, I would suggest. And if the corner hasn't told him he's got work to do, they should have done it. He's got it right. He can knock people out. He's done it 5 times already in his career. But so is Warchild. He's knocked 9 of his opponents out of the 14 so far. So he's certainly got more aggression and perhaps a little bit more power in those punches. But he hasn't been able to land them at all in this evening's fight. He's trying there. He did hit him well there, did Majiha. I always like to see a boxer do that. Maemu must say, "You didn't hurt me," and you know jolly well you landed. Very aware. On their toes again, both boxers. "34 minutes already been in the ring fighting, and they've been very much on their toes, very fit, very athletic. I think one of these boxers is going to be disappointed. Disappointed because they've probably given them all as well. And Majiha coming in from Tanzania, the lighter man, he still, of course, will be holder of the Super Bantamweight Championship of the WBA Pan-African version. He's now going for that second title, but I don't think he's going to win it tonight. Nice jab there from the Tanzanian. Once again, ducking him below. It really goes down low, doesn't he? Maemu, that's his defense. Goes down under the jabs, under the right hooks. The big cross rights of the Tanzanian. Hasn't been able to land them properly tonight. So just a few seconds left then in this, the WBA Pan-African fight. Now a bit of... both boxers think they probably won it. There'll only be one winner tonight in this. There won't be, I don't think, a draw. And I think the total of this will be interesting to see. I think we might well have it around about 118 to about 113 could well be the score here. That is quite decisive when you think about it. We'll have to wait and see what happens in tonight's fight.
I think Maemu has done well tonight, Barry.
Yeah.
To defend the title against Majiha from Tanzania. You know, they may not have thrown, both boxers may not have thrown big punches. The size each other up in the early rounds. Then there were some wild throws as well, punches not landing. But I think the respect for each other was there. Two very fit boxers, Barry,
yeah,
for the 2 rounds.
Two good camps. On the left-hand side there, Julius, who looks after the Kenyan boxers normally and brings the boys from Tanzania to this part of the world to fight. And then the grey hair of Alan Tawil, well known, of course, in the Tawil family, been a big boxing family for many years in South Africa, and Alan now continues that tradition.
That smile tells you there's confidence in that corner, Barry, that his man has shaded Majiha and retained his title.
Yeah, I think there's a long journey home, sadly, for the Tanzanian boy. He's lives to fight another day, though, remember, because he is still, as I said earlier, the WBA Pan-African Super Bantamweight champion, and obviously still retains that title, but he does fight a little bit lower, of course, in that. Remember, the bantamweight is at 53.42, and the featherweight title is at 57.15 kilograms. So a little bit of difference. He's come above that tonight, weighing in at 56. So he's already nearly 2.5 kilos over what he would normally weigh in at. And I wonder if that weight difference has made the difference in tonight's fight. Could well have been the case. The judges and adjudicators are making sure that the points are being added up correctly. Both the referee is looking over the top, Mr. Gerald Ramsden, the adjudicator this evening for the WBA. There is an announcement to be made, of course. We'll make sure that we'll have that announcement in just a moment. He's just ahead on our scorecard is Maemu against Majiha, and we're now ready to make that announcement.
So the judges have scored this fight as follows. Judge Wally Snowball scores the fight 116 to 112. Judge Simon Klamzashi scores the fight 116 to 112. Judge Patrick Esterhazen scores the fight 115 to 113 to the winner. And still the Pan-African Featherweight champion, unanimously, that is Rofhiwa Maemu. And to do the honors with the belt, we've got Adam Tyler, who's the Senior Vice President of Africa Sports Networks, Europe and Africa. The champion, and still the Pan-African Featherweight champion. Give him a nice warm round of applause. Maemu.
So there we are. As we thought, he just did enough, didn't he, Rofhiwa Maemu? Just did enough to retain his title, the WBA Pan-African Featherweight Championship. And Majiha goes home to fight another day, but as probably the Super Bantamweight champion, need to take quite a bit of weight off, I would think, to be able to get there. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight's fighting. We've certainly had one or two really, really good fights as far as I'm concerned. The last one was a strategic fight. I think they both looked at each other and managed to say, I want to win this, but I also don't want to lose it either. It's one of those fights. But I think the best fight of the night, I think, would take a lot of doing, would have been Ogetsi versus Mutabidi. Yeah, is that the one you think?
It was a good one, but I think that Stephen Bogasi was the really cracking one, because Stephen Bogasi showed that he had the skills to be in the ring with the experienced boxers.
He did, and Rafael Ita from Namibia, unfortunately, didn't come anywhere near winning that. Of course, stopped in the 5th round, so that was the end of that. So once again, boxing comes your way, I'm sure, next year. I know we're on our way to around Africa, southern part of Africa. We have fights arranged in Swaziland. We have fights arranged probably into Namibia, and we're back here again, I'm sure, at the arena here in Botswana. So it looked like we're going to have more boxing on our way next year. I hope you enjoyed the boxing tonight. Or we've got an opportunity from myself, Iqbal Khan at ringside. I know, of course, from Brian Mulder, the ring announcer as well, and all the crew in the van and everybody that makes this happen here at Fox Sports. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Christmas, and certainly, I hope, a healthy and happy 2018. We look forward to seeing you soon.
What?